If you've ever spent time in Minnesota's Brainerd Lakes area, Nisswa is just a special place. But have you ever wondered how it went from being just a little stop in the woods to the destination we all love today? Well, we're going to dive right into that story. We're going to get into the why behind some of Nisswa's most famous features. We'll look at where its unique name came from, and yes, we are absolutely going to talk about why on earth they race turtles down Main Street. It's a great story. Okay, so before there was a town, before it even had a name, and long before any turtles were involved, our story starts at a simple intersection, deep in the Minnesota Northwoods. It was really nothing more than a place where two rough trails crossed. And things happened fast. It all started as Hill's Crossing, basically a homestead built by a pioneer named Webster Hill. Then, this other homesteader, Ernest Smiley, he managed to convince the railroad to put a stop on his property. And boom, just like that, the community got organized as Smiley Township. And you really can't overstate this. The railroad was everything. It was the town's lifeline, it was the artery that pumped people and supplies in and hauled all those massive white pine logs out. It literally fueled the whole economy up here at the turn of the century. But here's the thing. The name Smiley, well, it just didn't quite feel right to the people living there. As the community started to grow, they wanted an identity that was really their own, something that was connected to the land itself. So, in 1908, the town's at a crossroads. They could stick with the name of the guy who owned the land, or, as a local resident named Leon Lum suggested, they could pick a name that went way deeper, something tied to the area's real heritage and geography. And they chose Nisswa. Now, this name comes directly from the Ojibwe word Nessawae, which means in the middle. And there was a really, really good reason this name was just perfect. And here's why it was so brilliant. The town itself is literally sitting right there in the middle of this chain of three lakes. It was a name that perfectly captured their place in the world, and it connected this new little town to the ancient landscape around it. So the town has its name, but right as that big logging boom started to fade out, a totally new force was coming down the road, literally. It was something that would change Nisswa forever. I mean, just look at these numbers. The growth was just unbelievable. The explosion of the automobile created this brand new kind of visitor for the Northwoods, the tourist. And of course, they needed a way to get here. And boy, did they get one. Remember that old wagon road that started it all, the Leech Lake Trail? Well, that got paved, and it became the Highway 371 that we all drive today. Suddenly, it was easy for families from the Twin Cities to just pack up the car and head up north. And Nisswa was sitting in the perfect spot to say hello. And they were ready for them. You had these visionary folks building these incredible resorts on the lake shores. Places that are now total legends, right? Grandview, Madden's, Craggan's. They became institutions. They put the whole Brainerd Lakes area on the map as a vacation hotspot. So you've got all these new visitors in town, and they're all looking for fun things to do. Well, the people of Nisswa came up with something a little different, and it became one of Minnesota's most beloved and, frankly, weirdest summer traditions. It all started back in 1963. The town decided that every single Wednesday in the summer was going to be dedicated to the high-stakes, action-packed sport of turtle racing. The whole thing is so simple, isn't it? Get a turtle, put it in the circle, and just cheer like crazy. But this fun, quirky little event just blew up. It became this multi-generational tradition that still brings hundreds of people downtown every week to make memories. It's fantastic.
This talent for reinvention, for taking what you have and making something new, it's really the core of Nisswa's story. And there is no better example of that than what the town did with its very own foundation.
So picture it. It's 1983, and the railroad that literally gave birth to Nisswa is gone. The last train pulls out of the station, leaving the old tracks to rust. Now, that could have been a huge blow to the town, but instead, these saw an incredible opportunity. They took that abandoned railbed and completely transformed it. In 1992, they paved it over, and it became the heart of what we all know and love as the Paul Bunyan State Trail. That same path that once carried logs now carries cyclists and hikers right into the center of town. It's genius. And this table just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's a story of adaptation, over and over again. It shows how Nisswa has consistently turned old infrastructure into new attractions, moving from logging to tourism and from just a summer spot to a place that's buzzing all year round. And I think that's the real key here. Nisswa has never forgotten where it came from. From keeping the old railroad depot as a museum to celebrating its Ojibwe name, the town's history isn't just in the past. It's right there, providing the foundation for everything that makes it great today. So that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Nisswa's story is one of constant evolution, from a crossing in the woods to a railroad stop to this vibrant community we have today. And as it keeps growing and changing, its history really shows us how a town can thrive by always honoring its roots while keeping its eyes on the future.